Tonight, we examine the QAnon map and how it has related to QAnon posts from day one. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. I want to start like I always do by thanking each and every one of my subscribers. You guys are really the salt of the earth, the cream of the crop, the best of the bunch. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, come here to the landing page. Click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as this information gets posted, you'll be notified, because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, looking at Q, still nothing. It's March 10th, and we have just crossed over into March 15th, we've just crossed over into the Ides of March 15th, 2018. So thank you for joining me here tonight on such a special evening. We're going to take a second here and talk about the Ides of March. What are they? Well, it's a day in the Roman Catholic calendar that corresponds to March 15th. It was marked by several religious observances and was notable for the Romans as a deadline for setting debts. In 44 BC, it became notorious as the date of the assassination of Julius Caesar. The death of Caesar made the Ides of March a turning point in Roman history as one of the events that marked the transition from the historical period known as Roman Republic to what is now known as the Roman Empire. Well, a very important day indeed. I think we all need to say a prayer for our commander-in-chief and make sure that we send those thoughts toward him. Because who knows what's going to happen today? It's going to be a very interesting day. The title of this video will be the Ides of March, or is the Ides of March, and it is truer than ever that we need to be careful on a day as today. So, getting into today's topics. We'll start by covering a few different interesting topics, but mainly what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to reference all of the Q map references. Now, he makes quite a few, as I can find about 34 references to the map, and this is the first one. This was a very important one. So what we're going to do for time's sake is we're going to read through these, and but I'm not going to really break them down unless they are pertaining to what the video is going to be about. But I'm going to try to, and I might not read each and every one because some are repetitive and some are longer, but this one I will read. It says, game theory defined. Why is this relevant? Moves and countermoves. Who is the enemy? False flags. Shooter identification. Shooter history. Shooter background. Shooter family. MS-13. Define hostage. Define leverage. Shooter, family, hostage, force, narrative, race, background. Why is this relevant? Flynn. What is Flynn's background? What is his rank? Or what was his rank? Was he involved in intel ops? What access or special privilege? Why is this relevant? Setup. Who wins? Who becomes exposed? Who knows where the bodies are buried? Who has access? What is military intelligence? Who was part of military intelligence during Barack Obama term? Who was fired during Barack Obama term or for military intelligence? Why is this relevant? Reread complete crumb graphic. Confirmed good. Paint the picture. Disinformation exists and is necessary. 10 days darkness war. Good versus evil. Roadmap of big pictures here. Review posting happenings. Clarified not only for poll, the silent ones, others monitoring, friends and enemies, instructions, Snow White, Godfather 3, Q. Okay, so sorry that was a little long, but so the roadmap here is what he's referring to as this whole thread, I think. It is here. It is what this is. It is what the QAnon threads and strings are all about, stringers and threads and all that. It's all about creating a map. Now, the map that we've been looking at intermittently through this series is also a map of a certain variety, where it's a map of what you can make connections toward. And I know that it is a good referencing point for anyone who's getting into this outside looking in. But I really believe that in this instance, the map is the QAnon board, the string of posts, and that this is a map just as good and just as helpful because it kind of paints a picture that we all need to see to give us the bigger scope of things. And when Q points to the map, I think a lot of times he's referring to what they're making on the board. And that is definitely a distinction I'd like to make here at the beginning. But moving forward, here's exactly what we need to be careful of. Okay, so I'm going to read through this, but you see what the message is. CIA is here. Pray. Pray. So, and where's the map mentioned here? It says map provides picture. Picture provides 40,000 feet view versus 40,000 feet or 40,000 foot view. 40,000 foot view is classified. Why is a map useful? Think direction, think full picture. Who controls the narrative? Why is this relevant? And then up here it goes on. It says, look there or here or there. Truth is behind you. What is a map? Why is a map useful? What is a legend? Why is a legend useful? So he gives us all these things here, and we're going to get into how he gives us the keystone for like solving stringers, and he gives us the way to read it correctly, and that's definitely a point that we need to cover. But this is fascinating here. We all know where they are, who they are, the clowns are around, and they are all here. Disinformation is real, and it is necessary. So we'll see. We'll see how this all pans out here. But looking at it, it says QMAP half confirmed. This is the key. So I still haven't figured out whether this is a part of it. I don't know. I found this as a part of the QAnon research that I was doing, and it was referenced as being the map. So I always kind of took it at face value that that's what it was. But now that I'm going back and doing the research, it's really making me question that assumption, and I want to bring that information to you guys because I think as my viewers, you guys are entitled to know exactly what I think when it's happening, so that I can like I said, never mislead or deceive you. That's not my goal. My goal is to give you the information as it becomes available to me, as it was from the beginning of this channel. So, QMAP, if it's half confirmed and this is the key, then it might be referencing an outside source map like this. And what if he was saying half of this was confirmed? Even if half of this was confirmed, I mean, we're talking some pretty crazy stuff here. And I'll leave a link to this in the comments, as I always do, if you guys are interested. But the next post says, expand your thinking. What are patterns? How are patterns formed and isolated? What are data sets? What is a map? Regarding Twitter, repeat important. What is action Twitter taking effective mid-December? What is the purpose of its action? Possible tests to understand public government response. Well, I mean, they're censoring. That's literally the purge. It was the Twitter lockout, and then it was the purge. And you know what this is all going into is how the map has laid it out. It's pretty much an older post that we don't want to get all the way into. I've pulled the whole thing up so that you guys can read it for yourself. But they even make a reference here to Deep Dream before it was even made kind of obvious that Deep Dream was the program being worked on by Facebook, I believe, and Twitter and all the social media. It's or Google that distorts pictures and makes them look like they're in a dreamlike state. And ultimately, that is a program that's actually being used to put us into a deep dream as we use our devices in conjunction with the social media platforms, as we use our laptops and our cell phones and smartphones. How does that put us into a deep dream-like state in our televisions and whatever? But how does that affect our minds, and how does that make us more susceptible to what they want us to believe as their narrative that they push? So he reposts it there. Here's a funny one, because we know Red October is now future proofs past type thing, but he puts up this article here that talks about a missing submarine from Kim Jong Un, and Q responds, Red October has not occurred yet. Follow the map. So this is the map, I think, as he keeps pointing out, and we need to follow it as such because it is the correct path for us to finding the truth. Now, here's a crazy one. I wanted to point this out because this is kind of, he gives us like the fact that the map has keystones, and he gives you this, like, we have we have the keystone to break the code here, the cipher or whatever you want to put it, however you would like to put it. But it says expand your thinking. He put this post up before the helicopter crash in England, and I wanted to point out something very interesting. They still have not identified one of the passengers who died in that plane crash. As far as I can tell with my information that I've been able to put together. I did a lot of research on it, and it was actually a hard thing to research given the fact that it happened recently, and there should have been articles written. There were many articles written, but not many that were very or informative or helpful. It says, Captain Mike Green, confirmation DTT up V891 0600, yes. Green 1 0600. Bunker Apple Yellow Sky +1, yes. Who countered? Do you believe in coincidences? Learn how to read the map. So they countered against us. We actually, I think, Mike Green was actually working, he was a patriot, and I think he was working for one of the intelligence agencies. I'm not sure if he was working in Britain as a foreign entity for America, however that might work. But they were actually taking somebody and removing somebody from an estate. And you ask yourself, why would they be removing somebody from a state? Well, let's just look at the article here, and this is from the Telegraph in India. And this is where I had to go just to get the information, basically, that was not, because they dropped this story immediately. This story dropped like you would not believe. Nobody, just out of the news in no time. Now, here it says, an Indian origin flying instructor, Jaspar Barhra, was among 4 persons who died when the Cessna light craft he was piloting collided midair with a helicopter on Friday in Buckinghamshire, southeast England. The crash, with the debris now lodged in thick woods on the grounds of the Waddesdon Manor, recalled Shah Rukh Khan's helicopter scene. Yeah, so there was an Indian movie that was shot on this estate that's actually owned by the Rothschilds, by the way. Lord Rothschild actually put out a statement after saying that nobody connected to the Rothschilds was involved. Although, I don't believe that for 1 second. That's what they said. So we have to take them at face value for now, until evidence proves otherwise. Now, here we go down here, and it says the venue, which is talking about the estate, is now a National Trust property, open to the public thanks to the Shah Rukh connection. Favorite destination for Indian destination weddings. It says crash investigators are trying to work out what happened a couple of days ago when the Gumbal Kabri helicopter, or G2 helicopter, flown by the very experienced Captain Mike Green with an unnamed sightseeing passenger on board. It was a gift and I'm not reading the article anymore. It was a gift sightseeing tour, as another article quoted put it. It's hilarious. I think it was an extraction of a bad actor. And what happened was, you'll read here. It says collided at a height of 1,000 feet with a Cessna 152, in which 45-year-old Barha was training a student, Suvan Munday. Okay, so these are 2 people I don't know what to tell you, because apparently Mike Green was a part of this, and yeah, he's pointed to in the Q post. Now, there were 4. So there was Mike Green plus 4 people, and the other person who's not named here is somebody who they really focused on for some reason, was this a Vietnamese guy who was, I think, with Mike Green at the time. He made a lot of headlines shortly thereafter. But that's besides the point. You can see here it's very clear now looking at that story, and you can actually almost read what he's giving confirmation of. Go put the flight up, 0600, bunker apple yellow sky. Bays, +1. So, you see it right there for yourself. And I think that's fascinating to look at when you examine these posts. But then he goes on to explain, he says, who or what was posted prior to the stringer? What keywords were within the stringer? Why would keywords be left in the stringer? Future shows past. Learn to read the map. And I think this is the map. Everything has meaning. Everything. He goes on to say keywords, confirm, green, sky. Why were keywords added in the stringer? What was the purpose? What was previously stated? To who specifically? ++. Who countered? Read the map. Missing critical items. Graphic is key. Ordering is critical. Okay? So, re-examining it with the knowledge of what happens after this is posted, there you go. That's pretty much it. I think it's helping us understand how to read the stringers if they keep coming up on the board when they come up on the board. So it's just a good tool for us to have. It says archive immediately. Stringer equals code equals command. What stringer was provided 2 days prior to event? What were the keywords? Confirm, green, yes, sky. Why were keywords provided? Guide to reading map. Lord de Rothschild. What was previously stated? ++. So ++ must be Lord de Rothschild, I'm guessing. Who was the pilot of the plane? Bad actor. Who was the pilot of the helicopter? Green. What was countered? Who was on the ground outside shortly before the collision? I heard that the guy outside was the gardener for the Rothschilds. He's the one who found the crash. And I think one of the Rothschilds actually was there and heard it when they were at the house. It says, learn to read the map. We have overestimated your ability. Okay, so they obviously overestimated people being able to understand that quickly, which is fine because not all of us are trained in military code, but or any kind of code for that matter. But it's really important to look at this in context of that this is the map, first of all. That's why he's telling us to archive it offline. We're going to talk about how the CBTS stream got shut down tonight. There's a lot of stuff here that needs to be covered, and I really am just blessed to be able to bring it to you. So I hope that you guys will stick with me and watch the rest of this episode as we go through and just keep confirming Q and giving proofs of Q as we go along here. So now this is talking about how they confirmed the map again, that this is the map, and they were talking about Saudi Arabia, and all of a sudden all the princes were purged, and that happened around early November. I want to say November 6th is the earliest article I can find about it, and where they give actually a list of the princes here. You guys, you can pause and read through it. I know Al-Walid bin Talal is the big one, who was probably hanging by his feet because of his just traitorism that we all know happened. He was the one who had stock in Twitter, and there's been a lot of reports about his activities, but it's all alleged, and we can't make that speculation other than to say he was possibly maybe hanging by his feet in a hotel in Riyadh with some very friendly interrogators asking him a few very friendly questions. So, that's kind of what that is. And it was all about a corruption purge in Saudi Arabia. They were trying to clean out the corruption. And Q gave us the hint. So, there you go. Now, this is a fascinating one. It says, who knows where the bodies are buried? The map is in front of you. Reread, expand your thinking. Purpose for time being spent here. Q. And what is that referring to? That's referring to this guy, Eric Prince. Now, who is Eric Prince? He was former head of this company called Blackwater. They were a private military corporation involved in a lot of overseas operations that were in conjunction with the U.S. military and the intelligence branches, where they were actually sent as mercs and assessors and workers. A lot of the people that were employed through that never held a military title or membership in the military. Mostly did. Most mercenaries were very associated with the military there. But some even came in from as outside actors, just with the training and knowledge to go do it. But anyway, there's a lot of scandals around it, and a lot of people say it was used for some pretty nefarious stuff. I'm not going to get into that. I can't give you a whole rundown of what happened or what didn't happen, but all I know is that from what it would appear now, Erik Prince is doing good work, and he is actually, if he did anything, he's working to right the wrongs that he may or may not have been involved in, and he's working with the president. He's been, as far as I know, so a type of shadow security, working just outside the purview of the Secret Service, but monitoring, intelligence gathering, and working to actually just help intelligence gathering on those who would like to hurt the president, or those who don't want the president to stay in power. Because in this battle, we need all the friends and allies we can get. And, if somebody repents and wants to make it right, then who are we to tell them no, is my opinion. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments, because I'd be very excited to hear that. Now, here we go. We're going to get into another thing here where they're just talking about the map has 43 confirmed connections. So is that just referring into what they've got so far to this point? It's just fascinating to kind of read through these and understand. And if it is this map, then if there's 43 known connections, even 43, I mean, let's just go out on a limb and say it's not this map. If it isn't, then that's all incorrect, and maybe you guys in the comments will have a better one or something more put together. My theory as of now is that the map is this, and this is just basically a helpful tool that kind of puts the map into perspective for us all. So let's just keep going. Okay, so here's analyze the connection. So Q's telling us to go back and read one of his stringers, and it's talking about how Obama is in Asia at the same time as Trump, basically following him, and how they approved the release of the information here on 8chan and 4chan at the time. And it was basically, the whole point was to let people know that that's what he's doing. He's traveling to undermine the president. And he was going and having meetings with state leaders right after the president, trying to gauge their loyalty to his cause as opposed to this acting president's causes. So I think that's what that's all about. You guys can go examine all this for yourself and check it out. But it says the marker, learn to read the map. News unlocks the map. Okay, so this goes into a whole can of worms that I'm not going to get into right now. It talks about, though, how he predicted that the Lord's Prayer would be changed by the Jesuit Pope, who decided to do that just recently. And talking about how people have handlers, former administration Hussein's have handlers, military intelligence, or I'm sorry, Bin Laden, who is his handler, not Hussein, excuse me. But this is big stuff. I'm putting it up here for a second so that you guys can pause it and read it if you want. For time's sake, I'm gonna just kind of scan over it and pick up on points that I think are important. Here's a good one. Just talking about what we're talking about with the map. This is the map. Perhaps someday people will understand they had a plan to conduct another mass extinction event, World War I and World War II. That's what we're up against here, people. I mean, I say this a lot, but if that doesn't make you upset, I'm not sure what will. And I'm just here bringing you the information because I think it's important. And I know that spreading the word of the Lord and spreading the truth is there are two things that you can never go wrong in doing. Here, he actually goes into it, explains it about how he was right about the Lord's Prayer. I know that's sad that we're living in that reality, but it is what it is. We just have to work forward. Now, going on, it says, what has been said about the U.S. military? The speech yesterday verified and lost so much. Reread crumbs, re-listen to yesterday's speech. It's just talking about all these different things. I kind of went through it. And he's just responding to all these people and kind of giving them all credit. So we can kind of go through that. I'll come and stop on each little section here if you want to pause. Let's give you a good second to do that. You're talking about how Obama's the renegade. POTUS speech used terms found in map. And there you go. So moving forward, it says, responding to an AN0N, he says, justice. His speech in Pensacola mentioned the U.S. military providing justice throughout the world. I hope that isn't just standard neocon justification to be the world's policeman. Key response here, which I think is fascinating, he says, what has been said about U.S. military? The speech yesterday verified and unlocked so much. Expand your thinking. Reread breadcrumbs. Re-listen to yesterday's speech. Connect the markers. News in all forms unlocks the map. Expand your thinking. The Great Awakening. Okay, so that was cool. That's what he responded to it as. Now, here's another one. Q posted back in the day. He said, reach estimated 1.2 million. Patriots, you're reaching more than you know. 1 equals 2, 2 equals 4, 4 equals 8. Godspeed, Q. Now he's talking about an AN0N who posted a picture of a tweet that says, Inspector General report into the 2016 election and the Hillary Clinton camp investigation, contains 1.2 million documents, production date January 15th, 2018. Okay, and then he says you're learning, future unlocks map, future proofs past, or news unlocks map, future proofs past, not everything can be stated one-to-one. Q. So, yeah, I mean, there you go. He's giving us foreknowledge, another example of how this is the map, and the key is basically us. This is Shall We Play a Game, and it's kind of, I think this was him explaining his intention with the actors online, the cyber warfare, all that, and how Hillary Clinton had a sloppy show. They showcased their symbolism. And this is a list of people who are all related to, like, for instance, I think Susan Rice's husband is like the president of ABC or something. I went through this in the last video. You guys can go check that out if you want. But they wanted worldwide dominance. They rely on the power to intimidate presidents through threats of assassination. It's hard to swallow. It's pure evil. But so, I mean, it's just crazy. Oh, I have to read it. It's too good. Shall we play a game? Find the spiders and build the web, the map. Remember, they consider you to be the fly, specifically the feeder. Remember, they never thought she was going to lose. Therefore, they never thought investigations and or public interest into their criminal acts would be exposed and investigated. Therefore, they never thought they had anything to fear. Therefore, they openly showcased their symbolism. Therefore, they were sloppy. Hussein's speech in Chicago scandal free? Why did he continually emphasize the phrase as a backup? They infiltrated and controlled the narrative, the MSM. As a backup, they install only those on the team. As a backup, they blackmail those that aren't. As a backup, they define conspiracy as crazy, mentally unstable, and label anything true as such. This works given most of what they engage in is pure evil and simply unbelievable, hard to swallow. The fix has always been in. No matter which party won the election, JFK killed, Reagan shot. This was always the promise made to those who played the game, willingly or otherwise, i.e. they would never lose power. Power of the three-letter agencies, power of the U.S. military, worldwide dominance push against other nations, and install like kind. These people are really stupid. Follow the husbands. Another hint. Gives us the names of all these people connected to people in mainstream media and how they're connected to people who are working in government. So, Federal Reserve, clowns in America, everyone is connected. How about a nice game of chess? Cute. No ability to enter troop code last time. Okay, so there you go. That's a fascinating one. It's a great one to look at. This next one just goes through another stringer from before, and we can skip over that. Like I said, for time, I'm going to try to skip through some of these. Not that you can do that too much here. That's also fascinating. Here's another stringer. Talking about how AT&T diverted capital back home. I guess that was a message to them. Here's one that's interesting. It's referencing how Obama was giving a speech or Trump was giving a speech about Haiti, and it was in a private setting, and they leaked that he said they all have AIDS when he didn't say that at all, and they gave us this post that was from way before. When Q was pointing to the fact that there's going to be this AIDS. They're talking about AIDS. Think AIDS. Future topic here. You know, you guys can read it for yourself. I'm not going to read every single one, but fascinating information as usual. Here's another one talking about DACA and how they were going to end the Clinton Foundation. This was right around the time of the false alarm in Hawaii. So it's kind of going through that. It says the map is the key. As I said before, this is the map. So fascinating indeed. And we're trying to get through all of the ones. News unlocks map. I guess if this is the map, then freedom is the one of the keys. So, you know, you see here he kind of goes through it all regarding stuff that we've already covered to a degree now. And all the way up to this Red October. And that's pretty much it. There were 34 references to the map, and I think I finally cracked what the map is. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, because that's way more important than any of this. First thing I want to do, though, is have a little bit of time here to report some sad news. It appears that an FA-18F Super Hornet crashed, and it's sad. My sad. It's with a heavy heart that I present you the news that 2 aviators were lost. We remember them and we honor their service, and we thank them for their service. They made the ultimate sacrifice. So that's certainly something we want to take a second and just acknowledge them and give them the credit that they're due for their service to this great country. Now, getting back into here, that's pretty much it for the whole examining the meaning behind the map. I think I figured it out. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll leave links. Thanks for watching. If you want to find a way you can support Just Informed Talk, The easiest way, it's free, and I really appreciate, is to come here and click the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. As soon as information becomes available to me, I make it available to you, and hitting that bell will make sure you get notified when this content gets posted. Thank you all for joining me again here tonight. Another way to contribute is by commenting. Commenting is like the most important part of this channel. Your comments and thoughts are what I go through on a daily basis. I read through, take hours to actually read through each and every comment that you guys give me. That way I can keep developing my perspective. I've had thousands and thousands so far. I'm thankful for each and every one of them. I try to respond to a lot. You guys may even get featured in an episode as you go down and comment. So go ahead and check that out. Another thing we want to talk about, though, before we get finished, I'm sorry I kind of missed this story. It's something I did want to show everyone, though, is that the CBTS stream has been banned. And this is just another example of the censorship that I was going over in my last video. If you guys want to watch it, it's called QAnon censorship. And it's just talking about how all these social media forums are blocking and banning all this content. And it's really disturbing. I think we all need to really just continue to make our voices heard and do what we can to skirt it and to keep it from becoming a literal Orwellian dystopia where they have control of everything. But the specific reason they gave for it was the prohibition of content that encourages or incites violence and the posting of personal and confidential information. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. Who's next at this pace if they're able to just shut down whole streams, channels? If you guys want to find another one, go over and check out The Great Awakening. They have pretty much, they're going to probably become the go-to for people, and I'm giving them a little free love here, free advertising here on the channel. If you guys go check out The Great Awakening, there's probably going to be great information there. It's one thing we're going to have to do. We're going to have to keep renaming this movement. We're going to have to keep moving. We're going to have to keep changing tactics to adapt and overcome, because that is the goal from here forward, is to do that. And if you want to check out my Twitter channel, I don't do Twitter a lot, but I do post all my videos there. So if you guys want to check that out, it's a great asset, great tool. It's at Justin_formed, and you guys can find me there on Twitter. Now, one more thing that we need to go into, if you want to find another way to support the channel, one of the best ways you can do it is by coming here to Just Informed Talk at Patreon, patreon.com/justinformedtalk. You can go ahead and search Just Informed Talk at patreon.com as well. It'll take you here to this landing page. Go ahead and click the red button to become a patron. You can give anything from $1 to infinity. I'm not going to tell you how much to give, but you can check out some of my cool stuff here where I have rewards and goal that you guys can get in on. So if you guys want to get a part of that, become a part of that, that would be really great. I thank you all in advance for coming and checking it out, and I thank you to each and every one of my patrons who has already contributed. I hope I can keep bringing you content. Without your help, I can't continue to do it. So thank you so much to each and every one of you. God bless you all. And with that, I'm going to take a second here to talk about something that's really important. God's love. Why is God's love important? Well, as we learn a lot. The good and the bad. Sometimes we have to learn to forgive. Sometimes we have to learn to be more understanding. Sometimes we have to learn to be humble. But most of all, we always need to learn that God is in control and that putting our ultimate faith in Him is what's going to make us successful. The moment that we believe that our success is predicated upon something that we did outside of His divine intervention, that's the moment that we set ourselves up for failure. Love the Lord, embrace the Lord, spread His word. You only have one eternal soul, and you have to cherish it and guard it, and you have to make it into a light. You have to make it into a beacon from which you can send God's love out to the world. If you can't do that, then you're truly never going to be fulfilled. So I encourage anyone out there who's having thoughts of doubt in the Lord, or doubt in themselves, or anxiety or stress, or in tragedy, even if it's the families of those who've lost loved ones. Um, please, please, please turn to the Lord. Let Him heal your heart. Let Him be your guide, and love Him and honor His name and spread His word far and wide, because ultimately that's what will save us all. So with that, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for watching. Make sure you come here and click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way, as soon as this information becomes available to me, I'll make it available to you and you'll get notified. But I'm Craig. This is Just Informed Talk. Godspeed and God bless, Patriots.